In news overseas, world leaders are scrambling to find a solution to avoid a catastrophic war in the Korean peninsula, where North Korea drew global outrage over its latest nuclear test. But as VOA's Bill Gaia reports, Pyongyang continues to make threats against Washington.
Just days after its latest nuclear test, North Korea issued a new threat. The country's United Nations ambassador suggesting the North may conduct another test.
The U.S. will receive more gift packages from my country as long as it relies on reckless provocations and futile attempts to put pressure on the DPRK.
The U.S. and its allies have been pushing the United Nations Security Council to tighten sanctions against Pyongyang following its sixth nuclear test. Ambassador Nikki Haley warning economic pressure is the most effective option.
Do we think more sanctions are going to work on North Korea? Not necessarily, but what does it do? It cuts off the revenue that allows them to build ballistic missiles.
Not everyone agrees, including Russian President Vladimir Putin, who called more sanctions useless. China also appears skeptical, instead warning both sides to avoid escalation. But Donald Trump isn't backing down, tweeting he'd allow Japan and South Korea to buy additional military equipment. But that may not be so easy, warns James Scove via Skype.
But it's not purely the president's call as to whether or not these things get sold. It depends on whether Japan and Korea have the budgets to buy these systems, whether they view them as necessary, how they prioritize them. Congress still has to approve, in many cases, waivers for certain types of technology to be released.
Trump also warned he may impose trade restrictions on countries doing business with North Korea.